TinkerCAD tip. In this tutorial, I'll show you how I quickly made this sort of coffee mug here with a logo on it. I'm not suggesting that this would hold hot coffee, but I am going to show you how to make this. It uses a couple of techniques we've used before. So let's go ahead and move this out of the way. We'll start over here with this shape, this cone. We'll bring it out. Let's expand this out, to be, let's say, about that size there. Alright. If we look over here at the number of steps, that's already maxed out at 24, and notice it has these flat spots, and we're going to address that in a moment. So the first thing we want to do here is we may want to increase or decrease the height of this, because what we're going to do is cut off the top of this to make our flat bottom. We're going to come over here, we're going to grab a whole square, whole box, and we'll drag it out. Let's make sure that it's a little bit larger here. Let's drag it up. Let's increase the depth of it. Now, from looking at from this perspective, we want to move this to about how high we want this cup to be. So if we zoom out a bit here, let's maybe bring this up just a little bit more, let's say about there. Let's go ahead and merge those two together. Leaves us with this shape. Now before we do anything else, we can address the sides on this. So there's 24 sides, that's a total of 15 degrees for each side. So in order to smooth that out, we're going to put in 15 duplicates of 1 degree each. So I'm going to select this, I'm going to hit duplicate, I'm going to click on the rotate here and type in 1 degree. So that's 1, and I'm going to start hitting Control D, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now if I select all of those, you see I have 16 shapes here. I'm going to group those together, and it may take a moment to render. Once it's rendered, it'll look like this. Let's go ahead and for now, let's change it to yellow. I like using yellow because it's easy to see. Holding Shift, let's rotate this 180 degrees. Let's select it, make sure it's on the work plane by hitting D. Okay. Now we're going to create a couple of duplicates of this to be able to cut out our inside and our outside here in a moment. So let's go ahead and select that, hit duplicate. We're going to change that duplicate to a whole, and this is going to be our inner one. And if I want the walls of the cup to be 2 millimeters, I need to subtract 4 from this. So we'll make this 106. Let's go ahead and stretch this up just a little bit so that we can see it here. Alright. Let's go ahead and for the moment, let's bring this over here. We'll select it, we'll hit D to drop it to the work plane. Making sure our snap grid is at 1 millimeters. We're going to hold the Control key and we're going to come up 2 millimeters. 1, 2. That'll make sure that the bottom of our cup is still 2 millimeters thick. Let's set that off to the back here. Let's make another copy of this. Let's also make it a whole, but we're going to make it larger. It will be used to cut off our logo here in a moment. Holding Shift, I'm going to click down here. I'm going to change this to be, well, let's say, be 104. Let's make it 103. Nope, 114, 115. I'm sorry. Let's go back here. Let's make that 115. There we go. Let's move that off to the side here. Let's make sure this one is dropped to the build plane. So I've selected it, hit D. Let's bring out a box here. Let's bring it over here. Now let's stretch this out to be larger than our cone here. We'll bring it up to be just below the height of that cone. Little larger at the front here. There we go. We'll select those two objects. Let's click on Align. Align them this direction. We'll align them this direction. Select the two of those, group those together. This is making our cookie cutter object. Once it's rendered, it'll look like this, so while it's selected, let's change that into a hole. Alright, let's move that off to the side. We'll use that in a moment. So I've already gone out to Google and I've downloaded a JPEG, which I've converted into an SVG, and I've shown you that before. So let's go ahead and import that. Here's my SVG I'm going to be using. Now we don't want it to be 600 wide, let's make it 50 wide. We'll import that. Once it's imported, it'll look like this. That's about the right size. Let's go ahead and make this quite a bit taller here. Let's change the color to white. Alright, now we're going to come over here, we're going to rotate it 90 degrees. While that's selected, let's shift select our cup. We'll align to the cup this direction. While those are both selected, we'll also align this direction. There we go. Now we want to make sure that our logo is embedded into that cup, both at the top and below here underneath. That looks pretty good. The size is about right. Let's go ahead and select the both of those. Let's group those together. Whoops, before we group those two together, let's go ahead and ungroup those. What we want to do is to bring in our cookie cutter here. So let's select our coffee mug, shift select our cookie cutter. Let's do an alignment. Click on the coffee mug and we're going to align that. And that way, there we go. Now let's group all three of those together. And once it's rendered, it will look like this. There it is. Let's go ahead and for now, let's change that to multicolor so we can see our logo there. Alright, the next thing we want to do is put a handle on this. So let's bring out this shape over here. Let's rotate it around 90 degrees. There we go. Let's bring it up. Let's shift select that mug there for a moment and click align to the mug. Go that direction. Let's do that again. I don't think it got it aligned. There we go. All right. Let's go ahead and move that over. Back out a bit. Let's change a few of the parameters on this first. First, let's change the tube, which is the size of this. Let's change that to be, let's say 4.5. Let's increase the radius to 15. There we go, that's looking a little better. Let's increase the number of sides so that it's a little smoother. There we go. We'll bring it down a little bit, maybe move it in a little bit. That looks pretty good. Alright, let's bring in this shape here. So we're going to select that. We're going to select our coffee mug here. We're going to align to our coffee mug this direction, and you'll note because of our logo there, actually it fits pretty good. Let's go ahead and merge those together. Give it a moment to render, and when it's done it'll look like this. Simple and quick coffee mug in TinkerCAD. So, hope you enjoyed this. Like, follow, and share. And I hope to see you on the next one.